This, we believe, was the song on your lips when you and your family heard of your transfer to the House of Purposeful Encounter. We as a church were so grateful that you honored the call to serve God's people. A quantity surveyor and construction technician by profession, and now turned Reverend Minister. Even though he's turning 50 years in a few months, he recounts his real date of birth as the 27th of August 1983, when he was preparing for his confirmation. He has special interest in reading, hiking, and classical music. He's married with 3 children he calls Trinity. Every man of God cherishes their encounter with their Heavenly Father, and so is this great man, Reverend Kennedy Kofi Asante Sarpong.
I've decided to speak on the theme, the power of one. The power of one. Being one has power.
Reverend Sarpong joined the House of Purposeful Encounter in 2012. Before joining Hope, he had worked with 3 congregations. In September 2012, Reverend Sarpong and his family were introduced to the Hope congregation. Time truly flies as we express our sadness of his departure to a new congregation. Reverend Sarpong's stay with us was a replica of how the angels visited Abraham's home when they needed God's blessing. We needed more as a church to grow in worship, and he was truly in service to serve and bless. Reverend Sarpong joined Hope at a time when the congregation was learning to come to terms with the sudden transfer of a beloved minister. As God sent, he supported the substantive minister, Reverend William Quay, and both played an instrumental role in steering the church back onto growth and helping her heal of her wounds. His enthusiastic nature made it easy to warm up with him. He became a father to many, and his ministry has touched many lives and relieved many of their strife. PCG Hope Congregation will surely miss him.
Reverend Sarpong joined us some 3 years ago and teamed up with Reverend William Quay to redirect the attention and focus of the church onto a more purposeful life when we are just coming out of some difficulties. He soon and quickly endeared himself to the congregation by his own style and brand of presenting the gospel. He was friendly, active, strong, and young. And you could see that in every part of his life in this church. And therefore he could easily mix up and support the minister in charge to direct the attention of this church. What I would say about him is that as a second minister, even until the time he's leaving, you will not be able to credit him with any program because of our structure. But one thing you cannot take away from him is that he did every assignment given him with all the seriousness that he deserves. He never held back any quality of his in anything you gave him to do. And he worked in such a way that he never looked beyond the work as if he's waiting for a thank you from you or commendation from what he's doing.
I met Reverend K.K. Sarpong when he was still a catechist at Medina some 5-6 years ago. I visited my senior minister, Reverend Dr. Parikwachi, who was then the district minister at Medina. When I went to the office, I met himself and the wife. Apparently they were celebrating, I think, the 10th anniversary of their marriage. So they had come to the minister for them to renew their vows. It was an interesting sight. I happened to be the only person outside of 3, witnessing the occasion. And that day I fell in love with Papa and Mama for something that happened that I'm not prepared to share with the congregation now. But after that, Reverend Ofare Kwachi, my senior minister who candidated me to school, said a lot of things about Papa Sapon, how humble and loyal, hard-working he has been, a pillar, support to his ministry at Medina. I listened to it. I never ever thought that I would come and meet Papa in ministry myself. But then when I came here, it was like the episode in John chapter 4, where the Samaritan woman informed the villagers about what she has experienced about Christ. But then when they encountered Christ themselves, they came back to the woman and said, "Woman, we no longer believe because of what you have said, but now we have seen and experienced it for ourselves." And that is my story. I have seen and experienced Papa Sapon for myself.
As a minister, the church can remember him for some of his fond sermons and teachings on prayer, faith, and Christian growth. Just as the church cannot forget his sermons, his songs in the pulpit can also not be forgotten. Reverend Sapon was involved in every aspect of the church's life and nature. He attended to the congregation like his own family. The church can also remember him for the roles he played in impactful programs like Thursday Prayer Clinic, Prayer Cetamol, and Friday Night of Hope, where you lead and encourage many in the faith and prayer life. Papa, through Hakteva, the church developed family solidarity. You were really instrumental in making many build their prayer lives through these platforms. Reverend Sapon is not only a loving father to his 3 beautiful daughters, he has also been a father to many young people and also to the elderly in the church. The young couples in the church especially were so much blessed to have him with them during his time with Hope.
In October 2012, we had the opportunity to be counseled by Papa.
We're so lucky to sit under his feet and learn from him. We barely knew him then, but he embraced us as his own children. We are deeply indebted to him in every way. He preached on our wedding day, he christened our baby, and launched a book we both authored. We joined the Young Couples Fellowship in 2014 and found his involvement and commitment amazing. Together with other couples, we have learned a lot from him and Mama. We feel we are being separated from our father, but Papa, you forever remain our spiritual father no matter where you go. We love you and we will miss you.
The young couples had transforming marriage encounters during their times with you, both on retreats and in the church. In our thinking, we reflect on all you have dedicated in service, from session where you contributed to the development of the church.
Now I want to say something briefly about his input at session. He was calm and always reflecting on things that are going on. So before he would speak, it means that he has listened to sides of the debate and argument. Then he comes in with a suggestion. That's how you always put it. I suggest. He kept a good diary on the activities of session, all weddings, anniversaries, funerals, and all was his baby. Therefore, made sure that whatever we have decided to do, he will keep it in touch, in tune for the purpose of implementing that. He was quick to remind us and to encourage us to do what we have to do. If anybody was going to preach, and I know about the session members, he would take a phone and call you the day before preaching and pray with you on phone. And for this, I'm sure not only session members remember him, but the entire members of the congregation who have got into the pulpit remember Reverend K.K. Sapon for this particular fact.
It was a great joy for me to get to know my dear friend and brother, the Reverend Kennedy Sapong. We got along so well. Though he was a junior minister, he accorded me all the needed respect and love. And he was somebody who was willing to learn and quickly was able to make good use of the gifts that God has endowed him with. He's a great minister, and I know that there's a bright future for him in the ministry. He has touched my life and that of my family, and I know he will continue to touch so many lives. I wish him well, and I know God is going to use him mightily in the years to come.
He's so sincere, objective, and competent in his work. He's so work hard, always trying to groom people. And as a catechist, whatever discussion that we had with him, he'll make sure that those discussions should be employed.
It is obvious the great bond you have had with all the ministers you worked with. Reverend Kennedy Kofi Asante Sapong mentored many young men and women who have the call of God upon their lives. He related well to church members and all the generational groups. In fact, each group has had one or two impacts from you, Papa.
The Young Adults Fellowship of the Hope Congregation over the years has gone through various forms of transformation, and a personality who has played a very important role has been our Papa Sapong. He has been very instrumental in our works. We will forever remember him for the various Bible studies that we have had with him, very memorable ones being the study of the book of Joshua and Jeremiah. He has always been there for us through thick and thin. Even when we thought we were left out, he was there for us. We would always remember him for all the good works, for all the various relationships that we had with him, both as a group and as individuals. We would say a very big thank you to Papa Sapong, and we would say that we envy the YAF of whichever congregation that he is going to. We wish him all the best, and we say, God bless you, Papa. Amen.
As a young minister of God, the sermons you preached are still encouraging, persuading, correcting, and shaping us for our Creator's use. Your counsel was evident as many through your wisdom reconciled, forgave, and lived happily. The youth of hope also received from your impartation through your guidance. Your exuberance in youthful activities was recognized amongst us, Papa.
I knew a day like this would come, but I never saw it coming this early. It is with mixed feeling that I say this. One part of me is very excited that Papa is moving a step ahead in his call to serve God and humankind. The other part of me is very sad because PCG, Hope Congregation Sakumono, will forever miss this man. As the chairperson for CPC 2015 and also having been a member on CPC for about 6 years, I can attest to the fact that Papa has been very instrumental in the successes of ESPLO since the time we have been together. On behalf of CPC and also the youth ministry of the church, I would want to say that God bless you, Papa, for all that you've done for us till now. Hope Congregation is forever going to miss you. And we say that yes, indeed, your good deeds will never leave our minds. Memories of you will be lingering on our hearts for a very, very long time to come. We say, Papa, we love you. All the best in the place you are going. Thank you.
You have been an inspiration to us from the very moment you joined us in 2012. Your love for worship, Christian education, music encouraged most of the youth. Your involvement in our youthful programs, Youth Explo, and our youth services were highly commendable. Your humility, discipline, and strong sense of humor are worthy of emulating. We would always remember your energy, inspiration, and commitment you gave to the youth at all times. The Young People Guild of Hope Congregation, YPG, would forever appreciate and remember your hard work. The Young People's Guild of Hope Congregation will love and cherish you each and every time of the way. It is our prayer that God will expand you and expand you in all your territories and make you a conqueror. Amen. Wherever you go. Amen. You will forever be our father, our brother, our mentor. May the good Lord continue to strengthen and equip you. May He guide you and protect your steps. We love you. You forever be in our hearts. You hold a special place in us. We will keep you in mind. We will not forget all your teachings and your love for us. May the good Lord continue to be with you and your entire family. Go and be the best in whatever you do.
Many call you by so many attributes like humble, respectful, candid, affectionate, passionate about your service, prayerful, open to all, gentle, counselor, dedicated, and many, many more.
The first time I met Reverend Sapon, I went to say hello to him after service because I thought he reminded me of my father, the way he spoke, the way he kept singing during the sermon and things like that. So I went to say hello to him, and ever since then, he's always acted like he's my father. He always calls to check on me. He encouraged me when I needed to get ready for law school. He's always there, always calling us, always visiting, always asking what's going on, and he takes selfies with us too from time to time. Now that he's leaving, I'm sad because I wanted him to officiate my wedding. But I wish him all the best wherever he's going. I pray that God will be with him. Papa, know that we will really, really miss you. You've always been a father to us. Last Christmas, you actually came to give us money for Christmas, and that's something only a father would do. So thank you. I will really, really miss you.
Papa, if I had my own way, I would say don't go anywhere, but I don't. So may God be with you throughout your journey as you go. The first time I met you, you spoke to me as if we had spoken before and as if you were my father and all that. I appreciate you with all my heart. I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of people. Papa, thank you for all that you did for us. Your warmth, your smiles, your advice, your prayers. I don't know how else to say it enough. Yamin sure, Papa. Yamin count ho number on home. Na yamin do a name, Papa. I am my home. Always as you go. Thank you.
Indeed, there's time for everything. A time for you to move to another congregation. The congregation will really miss you, Papa.
As a farewell message, I just want to say this like a poet. All reverend ministers are called by God, but some of them love their calling more than others. And Reverend Sapon falls into this category. He loves his job and works with passion. And for example, on communion days, communion Sundays, he would take the wafer and hold it in your arms and mention your name and give it to you, as if he's to remind you that this is not a joke that we are doing. And many of us remember him for that. But I want to give him a short advice, that it is easier being a second minister than the minister in charge. And so I believe, and he should take this from me, that he's going to face the challenges of his profession and career in his new station, and therefore must be prepared for that. Secondly,